Hey there, everybody. We're on to take on Royal Puma here on the road in our next match, and let's see how we can do here. We are down in fourth place. They're in sixth place, just a little bit behind us, and we better get some wins here after those draws. Draws don't do us any good. We need wins to be able to move up. So let's see what we can do here. Fourth match of the season. We are down in the league, but then again, we've only played 3 times. The rest of the teams have played 4. And so we're going to have a game in hand for a little while. I have had to make a couple of adjustments here. I tried to record this a little bit earlier. Nothing happened in that earlier game, but the lagging was incredible. So let's see if this happens here again. I've had a lot of really random issues here with Football Manager. I mean, ever since before I got rid of Mac OS and put Linux on this computer, I mean, it's been really bad, and it looks like we're going to have some lag issues here again. I can see already that it's happening. So we'll do our best to sort of stick with it and to push through with it. If it gets really bad, we'll just turn the crowd off and see if that does something. And yeah, you can see it's bad. I don't understand what's causing this lagging as Atu has this, knocks it over to Maile, who I thought was fouled there in the penalty area, but apparently not. And this lagging is getting really, really bad. I can barely follow what's going on. So let's see if we can solve this a little bit. If you know anything about how to remove lag without just totally killing the game, let me know. I'm going to turn the crowd quality completely off. Let's see if that ends up solving the problem here. I hate doing something like that, but it's a problem. And you can see here, even with the crowd turned off, that it's still lagging like crazy. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Probably Pua with the ball. I can't do anything with it, and that's knocked all the way back. And it's Kaleopa who ends up running back to grab that one. And he passes over to Ikuvalu. Ikuvalu over to Tualalele, back to Ikuvalu. I may end up turning off the shadows as well over to Kaleopa. Kaleopa with this over on the side to Tiatia, and that goes up to Milani, back to Kaleopa, who finds Maile up and above everybody. Now it's getting a little bit better. Maile's shot didn't have anything on it. I think that was blocked out by somebody, I guess. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened. It looks like turning off the crowd did a little bit. And it's Atu there with that corner, and that ends up being knocked back over to their defender, and that's going to be the end of that one. The highlight's still going, which is not a good sign for us, and that Maile, the other Maile, is able, that was Toa Maile who was able to make the tackle right at the right time. I want to take another look here and see exactly what happened on this one, and Maile was there trying to around the keeper, and I guess it was their Milani who knocked into that one, but I didn't really see anything, even from that angle. Not quite sure what the game was trying to teach us, and it's Toa Maile here with this ball again. Walks it up over to Kaleopa, right side to the other Kaleopa. Kaleopa's got a cross open, instead goes back to Tiatia. Tiatia with it, dances around with it a little bit, and then passes all the way back over to Kaleopa on the other side. We have so many guys named Kaleopa, it's going to be hard to keep them apart, and he ends up having the ball stripped from him, and that was a pretty poor move on his part. He should have tried to do something with it other than what he just did. Fortunately for us, Dong for them was offside, otherwise it was about to be 1-0 for Royal Puma. And this is a concern. So in addition to the concerns that we have with this team not playing as well as they can, we also have concerns with the game glitching like crazy. So I guess that's sort of the way that it is our free kick ends up missing, and we can't seem to score. Tualalele and Palipua supposedly don't play well at the back, though when I watch them, they seem to do okay. That was a good crossover to one of the Kaleopas, and it didn't quite work. And there was Tiatia with another attempt at a cross, and that one is taken away by the opposition. But it's Palipua who grabs it over to Maile. Can't quite find him. And it's Loke who takes this ball down, passes over to the left side to Kaleopa, one of the many. And it goes over to Milani, who's fouled in the penalty area. And that was a pretty harsh call for a penalty, but it's going to stand. Who's going to take this one? It is going to be Kaleopa, one of the Kaleopas, and he completely misses it. That's way over the bar. That was a ridiculous, ridiculous attempt at the penalty. I'm not quite sure why he's taking it, because he's like a right back. So we may have to go take a look and see what things are set up for. That was pretty ridiculous. Kaleopa with the ball again, and he's going to have a dent to his morale after missing what was a sitter of a penalty. Kaleopa with the ball over there to Milani, down to Loke, back to Kaleopa. Over to Atu, who's in front of everybody, and then he goes over to Toa Maile, who scores. Why isn't Maile taking the penalties? He should be the one taking it, and we are up 1-0. PanSa East FC up 1-0 once again, and we keep scoring goals. We keep scoring goals even when we miss them. So this was Atu here with the good pass as he had a double team around him. Maele knocked that one straight at the goaltender, and it didn't make any difference. Easy goal, 1-0 for PanSa East FC, and we're doing pretty well. Yeah, Milo Kalliopa is having a really, really poor match there at left back, and we're going to have to take him out in a second. Here's Atu with a shot on goal. Instead of trying to find a teammate, ends up knocking that one over everyone's head, and it ends up going back out for a goal kick. Now we've got to play defense, and we do it fairly well. Milani ends up with that one over to Palipua, and he finds Toa Maele, who's behind the defense again, and that was deflected and out for a corner, unfortunately for him. If he had been able to lob the keeper there, that would have been an easy goal and would have been easy 2-0 for PanSa East FC. And that corner ends up missing everybody. That's the classic amateur way. You can take another look at this one, and you can see here that Maele gets the ball in an excellent position. And yeah, it's just, he was going to lob it, and that was just knocked out by the defender who was standing right next to him. But that was definitely worth the effort, and it wasn't a bad effort by him, if I do say so myself. And we still have the 1-0 advantage. So let's see what happens here. We've got about 10 more minutes or so until halftime. I was always under the impression that if you didn't choose anybody to be your penalty taker, they would choose the player with the best penalty taking ability, but that didn't happen there. Loke down to Tiatia over to Atu, and can't find him. Is back with Kalliopa again. Kalliopa's got it, knocks this one forward for Maele, and that one just misses the goal. And that should have been a goal again by Maele, and didn't quite happen. So remains 1-0. And I think somebody was talking before about the headers and whether we see any headers scored. We have seen quite a few actually by Maele so far this season. So I think it can happen. And I do think that we should continue to play with our wingers, even though they may not be perfect. This is lump 4, looking again for Maele, but he's not going to be that fast. And here's Atu with it. Atu takes it up himself and then lumps it forward again for Maele, who heads that from the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure what he was trying to do with that. Their keeper, as it knocks this forward, we're going to win this in midfield. It goes over to Milani. Milani fires this forward again, looking for Maele. And we're having a hard time finding each other here. We're supposed to have really good cohesion, but it hasn't looked like that so far in this one. Palipua wins this one in midfield, but he knocks it, as he usually does, to a defender, or to a attacking player, I should say. Ikuvalu makes the save, fortunately for us, but that could have been a lot better, and so I don't like a lot of what I've been seeing. And let's see if we can figure out what's going on. So the first thing I want to look at is who is taking penalties. And see, we have nobody listed as a penalty taker. I have no idea why it is that we wound up with the penalty taker that we did. It's totally bizarre to me. So, I mean, if you know the reason why, let me know. But I was always under the impression they would just pick the best penalty taker. Kalliopa is coming out here for Stedolf Collins again. Collins appeared in yesterday's match, and so we'll see how he does here today. And we'll start off the second half, and we started off with the ball. Don't be fooled again by the crowd. It's not that there's nobody here. It's just that we want to make sure the game's actually playable, which it has been since we turned off the crowd. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's a Steam update in the background or something like that happening. But whatever it is, it seems to come and go at random. Collins with the throws over to Atu. It's back to Collins. Collins lumps this one forward, and he finds Robert Kalliopa, with his third goal of the season. And that was pretty easy, and he was onside. That makes it 2-0 for PanSa East FC. That might be the first goal that we've scored in the second half, or the second all season. I don't know which. Usually in the second half, we're conceding goals left and right, and this was pretty good. I mean, he just got in there behind the defense. One of the things that happened is I stopped telling the players to pass shorter and just sort of have given them a little bit more creative freedom. And I think that's why this sort of thing has happened. Now, you'll notice we did have a player who was far offside on the other side, but he was adjudged to not be part of the play. And so that is the reason why that wasn't called back. And they've lumped this one forward. Tualalele with it over to Milani, back to Palipua. And he finds Maele again up behind the defense, and he has a shot on goal from range. What he needs to figure out how to do is how to bring it just a little bit further forward when he has the ball in that position, instead of trying to lump it over everybody's head. It says Stedolf Collins is confused to be coming on in that position, but he has an assist and has a pretty good rating, so I'm not quite sure which one to believe. We had him playing that position yesterday, or in the previous match, so I'm not quite sure what he's confused about. He better get used to it because he has the ability to play there. So I don't know what's going on, and this is about to be a goal for them. Yeah, that was Jimmy Dong with the good play on the right side, and Ikuvalu was, I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he was way out of position. And so, they had this ball sort of lumped on forward, and we have a defender who's way out of position. I don't know what happened to our left back, but that was pretty bad. that was pretty bad, and this is indicative of the sort of goals that we've been conceding all season long. This might be a long season. I'm not so sure. Everybody's frustrated by my feedback, so maybe it was wrong to tell them that they need to offer me a little bit more right after giving up a goal. I don't know. Let me know if you've figured out the feedback system here in Football Manager. I have no idea. It all seems to be totally random to me. It would be nice to have a morale system that actually made sense. But maybe we're gonna have to wait until the new match engine comes out in FM 25 to see any sort of changes like that. Palipua over to Milani, and he finds Kalliopa. Kalliopa with it, lumps it forward, finds Atu behind the defense over to Maile, who scores easily, and that's goal number 6 of the season. And we're still getting some glitch, and we're still getting some lag in this game. I've got the frame rate down to 30 frames a second. I mean, it's incredible because this graphic card is not that old. But we can't seem to get anything to happen. I'm not quite sure what's going on. My guess is that once I restart my computer, that'll probably be the thing that solves the problem, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yesterday's match didn't have these problems, and today all of a sudden it's like, we've never played this game before. And Atu is able to win this ball back in a very strong position over to Palipua, who does the right thing and slows it down a little bit, and has a whole bunch of guys chasing after him. Passes over to Kalliopa. Kalliopa, one of the 3, back to Palipua. Palipua has it, knocks it forward, looking for Atu, who lumps it over to Maile, and that could have been a hat trick, not quite. And Elama Atu, as it says below, is having a real impressive debut, and he has been playing very, very well. And I think we have a new starter on our hands. Dong there had an attempt on goal, and that got a whole bunch of whistles of derision, as that was a pretty poor attempt on his part. But you look at Atu here, who has the pace and has this amazing ability there from that left wing position to put this sort of pass forward, and that really could have been a goal. I'm surprised that we couldn't get a little bit more out of that one, and we have about 10 minutes left, and I think that this may be a happy ending for us. Palipua lumps this forward, looking for Maile, finds Kalliopa. Kalliopa over to Milani, and there it is. He tried to pass it over to Maile, and it didn't have anything on it. And that's the sort of pass that they usually complete. And you see what happens as a result when that doesn't happen. We end up giving up a counterattack, and that really should have been a goal for Royal Puma. And so now we got to figure out what to do from here. Here's a corner for them. And they step back and knock this one forward, and it's going down to Tia. You can't quite get there in time. And that is, fortunately for us, knocked up and over the goal. That was another really poor attempt at goal. And so it looks like we're going to be able to win this match. Atu here, the newbie, has the shot overwards. It goes back to Peyton Milani, who shoots an incredible shot, 25 yards out, gets that one on the volley and knocks that into the top corner. That was amazing. 4-1 for PanSa East FC, and we're showing that we can grab the momentum late in the match as well. I'm telling you, this is looking like a good team. I still think this is a team that could win the league. Even though I know we're going to be a whole bunch of points behind and that we're not playing as well as we technically could. I mean, we've got a number of players who can score and who are good and who have good mentalities. Ikuvala goes over, grabs that ball. We're not seeing any of that inconsistency that hampered us last season. This looks pretty good. Twala Lele with it, walks it forward, lumps it way back over to Tia. Tia with it, takes it up right side. Tia slows it up, passes backwards to Palipua. Palipua with it over to Tia again. Tia takes it up right side, around midfield, and then passes to Kalliopa. Kalliopa lumps this one all the way back over to Collins. Collins is looking for Atu and finds him, and Atu with the pass over to Milani, and that should have been a goal. That's just off the top crossbar. Kalliopa with it now, and he ends up winning the corner. And so that really should have been a goal. It should have been Milani with his second. That one just off the top crossbar and should have been in. And unfortunately for us, Twala Lele unable to get onto that header. And now we got to watch out because they've got another counter attack. And that is the end of the highlight, thankfully. And they launch this one forward, but Tia, who's an all-star up there with it, grabs it over to Loke, over to Twala Lele, to Maile, to Kalliopa. Kalliopa with it, and not much of a shot. It sort of passes it straight to their goalkeeper. Kalliopa with it again over to Atu. Atu with it. Passes over to Maile. Maile has the ball back to Atu. Atu walks it over left side and lumps this forward looking for Collins. I'm not quite sure what Atu's trying to do there. And whatever it was, it didn't work that well. This is knocked back into midfield. Milani ends up with it over to Kalliopa. Kalliopa just launches a shot, And I mean, that was on target. That was on target. Might as well give it a try. This is launched backwards with some authority to midfield, and it's Dong who wins it. Unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of guys back, though, and Ikuvali is able to grab that ball. That will be the end of that attacking movement for them. So, I mean, it's all right. We can give up that sort of momentum and that sort of movement as long as they don't score. Tiatia lumps this one forward over for Toa Maile, who gets his hat trick, and he does it again with his head. Perfect hat trick, one with each foot and one with the head, and that makes a 5-1 PanSa East FC. We have scored 5 goals in a match once again, so we had 5-5-1, then 5. We have scored 16 goals this season in 4 matches, which is pretty impressive and probably an indication that we have a good squad. And remember, we haven't even played the Dregs in the league yet. Royal Puma are one of the better teams. And so I know that we struggled against 2 teams, but this might be the sign of things to come. And if not this season, maybe next, because this is a team I'm probably not going to end up completely tearing apart like I did the last one. 5-1 PanSa East with the victory, 3.66 XG, 62% of the possession, completed about 80% of our passes. Everything looks really, really good for us. That was a good match. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.